Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am going to make for you a particular drink called a Russian rocket. Now, a Russian rocket is really good for fighting a particular enemy. That enemy is the dragon ass. The dragon ass is the enemy that always pulls you back to bed when you're trying to work. And I am trying to work. So, here's the thing. There is such a drink called a pick-me-up. It is non-alcoholic. It involves cola and coffee. This is cold coffee. I made a pot of coffee yesterday, and I'm trying to finish it off. It's cold. So, then you have vodka, which, generally speaking, if you're going to call something Russian, it has vodka in it. So, there is ice in this jar. Ice is starting to melt. It's been taking me a long time to get to filming this. So we start by adding coffee. It's best if you add a shot of espresso. The espresso will give it a thick, deep flavor of coffee. I am not measuring out a shot. I'm just eyeballing it. It's best to measure out the shot. I normally make these with a half-liter bottle of Mexican Coca-Cola, but right now I have some Pepsi soda shop, so that's what I'm using. And normally, if you put in the cola last, you get a strong reaction. Let's see if we get that reaction. Here we are. And what you wind up with is something that looks a lot like lager. It is a thick, dark brew. Should be nice and cold already because I chilled the Pepsi. Now, some people say this is an acquired taste. Honestly, I've never met anybody who tried one that didn't like it. But then, you know, when I was a kid, we had a drink we called Chork, which was orange juice and Coca-Cola, and that sounds nasty. Something about the coffee and the cola mixing together. This foam is a strong chemical reaction. And that strong chemical reaction wakes you up somehow. I don't know why. It works faster than coffee or soda separately. But it is something that just pops me. You know, I'm already feel more awake. Interestingly enough, originally coffee was a tea. It would take the leaves of the coffee plant and boil those and make tea. Apparently they have caffeine in them. And this was apparently, according to legend, discovered because a bunch of people saw their goats eating coffee. And the goats were running around like crazy. And then the next day, the goats ran right back to the plant and were like, this is delicious. We want more of this. People were like, well, if the goats like it, maybe we'll like it. You know, I mean, next time I take the goat out on a date, maybe I should bring this here. It gets very lonely when you're a shepherd. Anyway, so goes the legend. But yeah, the Russian rocket is a variation on the pick-me-up. The pick-me-up being a non-alcoholic drink. And despite being a non-alcoholic drink, it's not something you should really be giving to your kids. Because it's going to make them wired. It's got sugar, it's got caffeine, and it has the other compounds of coffee. I like to use espresso, which gives me a much darker brew. And by doing that, you know, I get something way stronger. And, you know, that's one of those things is that this was what I used to do in college, is I would I would make myself a pick-me-up. And then when I got out of college and I was not as pressed for time, I would do more drinking. And I was working at a place where I was very stressed out. So I would start making these Russian rockets. And I have had them with other people. Russian rockets, the great thing about a Russian rocket is it gets that nice big foam on there. It is a very visual drink, and it takes a little longer to consume. Now, again, I did plan for having this. I had a meal beforehand, and having a meal beforehand was very important because you want the alcohol to hit you slowly and have a long-term effect as opposed to slamming into your brain and knocking you out. The point of this is to wake me up and get me going and make me feel less inhibited. And I mean, even you should have seen just how much thought went into my breakfast this morning. Took me forever to make that stuff, and I only used a frying pan and a pot. So, you know, it's just one of those things that I need to curb those inhibitions, especially when I'm doing voiceover work. I'm reading things, and if my brain stumbles, I stumble. The right amount of alcohol makes your brains flow smoothly. The wrong amount of alcohol makes you dumb. One of the reasons I believe writers drink a lot of alcohol, or typically known for drinking alcohol, is because drinking alcohol gets that brain going. It loosens your mind. And you don't worry so much about things being bad. So that's just, it's one of those things about, you know, this process is that, yeah, a certain amount of drinking will help, right? A lot of drinking will not help, because then you start screwing up your lines, laughing, and not worrying so much about your product. But worrying about your product is important. So there we are. This is one thing we do to get the creative process going, is add a little bit of alcohol. Not too much. The key there being, not too much. I'm Richard.
Danger Ducky says, this is your magic moment. A moment for you to do something that is good for the world. You can comment, like, and subscribe, because for every 1,000 subscribers this channel gets, they will buy one of these bracelets I am wearing. Each one of these bracelets I am wearing means that one pound of trash will be removed from the ocean. Cleaning the ocean is an expensive thing to do, and we need your help, so don't be trash. Comment, like, and subscribe, and get trash out of the ocean.